Hi, Kat.
Hey, John.
How's it going?
John, it's great. How are you?
I am so fucking good.
Yeah, buddy. That's awesome.
It's developmentally disabled how good I am right now.
Whoa.
I know, right?
Damn, dude. Spicy.
Hey, you know, you come for the come for the spicy and leave with I don't know, disappointment, something.
Yeah,
It's,
that sounds right. That tracks.
Kat, what the hell are we doing?
John, we're recording a motherfucking podcast. It's called My Mistake.
Uh-huh.
You're John. I'm Kat. Sometimes we talk about our mistakes, other people's mistakes. Hysterical mistorics are when we talk about mistakes that have happened in history. Let's get into it.
Let's freaking get right into it. Let's do that, Kat. Whew.
John, did you know
No.
that Richard Heaney was born in 1961?
I'm going to go with no because I don't know who Richard Heaney was.
Excellent. That's good news. Okay. I mean, you'll know, but it's going to take a minute.
That's totally fine.
He was born in Virginia. His biological father was absent, quote unquote. So he was raised by his abuse. It's a choice.
Okay.
He was raised by his abusive mother and stepfather. So that's a great start.
Hey, this is the most interesting people throughout history have started out like this. Mm-hmm.
In 2012, he was quoted in the Broward Palm Beach News Times, one of my favorite papers. He said, "We moved a lot. I went to 13 different schools. With just a high school diploma, nothing wrong with that. I'm just making note of it. There's nothing wrong with only a high school diploma.
Of course there
Nothing
isn't,
wrong with
Kat.
it, John.
You are absolutely
John?
right, Kat. I would never argue with you on that.
Richard had a long list of jobs to his resume, including a licensed carpenter. That's great.
Hey, Jesus was a carpenter. You know.
A salesman, stand-up comedian,
Right?
an author.
Wow.
He once designed a board game, but it was not successful. He once cleaned a backyard piled with dog poop for $300.
Wait, what? Okay, sorry. What's the time frame we're talking about here?
Oh, this was just, between high school and when we're going to drop in and get more specific.
I know, but like what year, Kat? Because I'm trying to figure out the time value of money here.
Oh, this is probably going to be, it's probably in the 80s maybe.
Okay, 300 bones is it's a chunk.
I mean, that's a lot of poop.
It's a lot of poop, but I mean, $300, man.
He also found work as a handyman.
Heaney the handyman.
That's got a ring to it.
It does, doesn't it?
In 1970, he became a storm chaser after a storm took the roof off of a building he was working on. He was so impressed by this, he decided to be a storm chaser.
Okay. He would have been one of the early guys, I think, in 70.
I would think so, yeah. That's a whole other episode, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Heaney's storm chasing included riding a motorcycle into a tornado.
Wow.
And reportedly flying a plane around the perimeter of Hurricane Wilma in 2005.
Okay. I can't imagine, Kat, what kind of mistakes a person like this would have made.
Well, and keep in mind, on this list of job titles, I didn't cover scientists or meteorologists.
Because he wasn't any of those things? Is
He
that
just
why
wanted
you
to
didn't
chase some
cover those?
storms. Yeah, he's just chasing storms.
All right.
You and I could be storm chasers.
All we have to do is chase a storm, and there
That's
you
what
go.
I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
The bar for this is astonishingly low.
In 1985, John, he owned a contracting business. Okay, it's reputable. See?
I once owned a contracting business. So
Sure.
there you
Who
go.
hasn't?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
In 1995, he published a parody book titled Offensive Driving under the pseudonym Dick Weenie.
Okay. Okay, well, at least it rhymed with his last name. I mean, what was his first name again, Mr. Heaney?
Richard.
Well, there you go. He only changed one letter.
It's clever.
Dick Heaney.
In 1997, Richard met Mayumi Uzuka at the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute, an acting school in Hollywood, California.
Uh-huh.
I know you've heard of it.
I'm familiar with Lee Strasberg. He's the founder of what most people think of as The Method.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a very well-known school, and a lot of very big-name actors have attended. Mm-hmm. Did you go?
I did not. I studied a little bit of Meisner and some old school. See, this is so funny. An actor prepares by big Russian name. That's what I meant to say.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll think
big
about
Russian
it.
name.
Big Russian name. We'll think on that while we learn more.
Stanislavski.
Okay.
Stanislavski. That's the
Got
guy.
it. Great. So Richard and Mayumi meet. They're both pursuing acting as a profession, but they aren't successful
Okay.
at acting. But they get married in October of 1997. And so they kind of give up on acting, but they start their own home business producing demo reels for actors, which is, it's smart. It's a good business.
Sure. I mean, I know a lot of people were making money off of young actors when I moved to Hollywood.
Exactly. Yep.
And things like that.
So eventually, the two move to Fort Collins, Colorado, and they have 3 sons, Bradford, Ryo, and Falcon.
Well, they just got weirder as they went. Really? Yeah? Okay. Bradford, like waspy, but
Yes,
okay.
very white.
We can do that. Ryo, wow. No, I've never heard of anyone named Ryo before.
It might be a Japanese name because she.
Now I'm culturally
Mayumi.
insensitive.
No. Mayumi
Okay.
is Japanese.
Right?
Just because you haven't heard of a name doesn't mean.
I've heard of Ryu, but I think that was in like an anime video game.
Sure.
Ryu. Yeah, pretty sure. But Ryo.
Is that Street Fighter, I think?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
And Falcon is just a fun name.
It's a bird, Cat.
It's a plane. It's
No,
Falcon.
It's just a bird.
What? Oh.
It's just a bird.
So Richard regularly involved his children in all of his endeavors. For example, taking them along on UFO hunting expeditions and storm chasing missions. So he would bring his young children to chase storms.
Sure, because, how are they going to learn otherwise?
That's what I'm saying.
Take your kid to the tornado. That's
Sure.
Yep.
A domestic violence investigation was launched at the Heaney's home in February of 2009 after Mayumi was seen with a mark on her cheek and broken blood vessels in her left eye. No charges were filed due to lack of evidence.
It was the tornado, Cat.
It may have been.
That's what happened. It's a very low pressure. Capillaries are known to burst. in
That's
low
horrible,
pressure zones.
John. That's horrible.
I fell down some
horrible.
stairs. I don't know. It's bad.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
John,
What?
why?
Because I'm tired, Cat. And because it is funny. It's also terrible. and
It's terrible.
funny.
It's all
Yeah,
terrible. Okay.
It is. Yep.
The family,
Yes.
the Heaneys,
The
if you will,
Heenies, Yes.
had been featured on a reality television show, Wife Swap,
Oh, dear.
on 2 occasions. Are you familiar with the show?
I'm familiar with the name of the show. I am
Okay.
proud to say that I have never actually watched it.
Well, let me tell you the premise. As you
Okay.
can probably guess, one wife
Goes and
swaps
lives with another family.
places with another family. So then now she's in charge of these strangers' kids and
Right.
having to deal with the husband while her family deals with this family's strange wife.
Right.
They
Perfectly
swapped
normal,
wives.
perfectly healthy.
From what I can tell, there's no sex involved. It's just parenting and being in a marriage with someone.
Okay. Well, that's accurate to being in a marriage, isn't it?
Oh, that's fair.
That there would be no sex. Mm-hmm.
Bum.
Bum, bum.
See, if I was using the other board, John, I could have given you a
Ba-na.
rim job.
No, that's not.
What?
That's not what that's called, Kat.
Moving on.
It's rim shot, and it
Rim
means
job.
something.
Okay, John loves rim jobs. Let it be known.
Okay.
Hashtag John loves rim jobs.
You've never gotten me like this.
Yay, I win. Man, it's going to be a good night.
I mean, I have to, you know what that is,
I
right?
know what a rim job is, John. Come on. It's funny.
I didn't know. It's totally funny. It's totally funny. I just never thought you'd go there. Okay, well, there we are. All right. I'm learning new things about you all the time, Catherine.
John, it's one of those nights.
Whew, it sure is. Oh, boy. Uh-huh. Okay.
So they participated in Wife Swap. Mm-hmm. The first time was on October of 2008.
Yep.
And the family that they switched with, the wife's name was John. Hold it together, John.
I can't. I've never broken on this show before.
All right,
Okay,
I'm going to give you a second.
It's the hashtag that did it, really. It's the.
I hope it trends.
I mean, you haven't heard me refute it, but I'm just saying still, it's not, yeah, I don't want this to be how I get famous, Kat. Okay?
I mean, John, there are worse things.
Yes, that's true. That's true. All right. All right, I think I'm ready to continue.
Okay, good. So Richard, on the first episode that they appeared on, Richard welcomed Karen into the house. She was the strange woman that he invited into his home to be with his children.
Let's be honest. Anybody who participates in this show is strange.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you know, so far what I've told you of this guy.
Yeah.
Do you have like an image in your mind, like what type of man this guy is?
I mean, it's really weird because with all the different jobs that he's done,
right.
I feel like he can't be a complete idiot unless maybe he only had those jobs for like a week at a time.
Right.
He got his carpenter's license.
Sure.
Wasn't just out there practicing carpentry willy-nilly.
He wasn't just winging it.
Right. He wasn't just out there. So, I mean, I feel like he can't be super like he's not an idiot.
Right.
But I feel like his value system might be like really out of whack, perhaps.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So when Karen when he's on the show with Karen in his home,
Yes.
he yelled at her a couple of times. One of the more interesting nuggets was he said, "You're a man's nightmare. I'm so glad my wife was born in Japan."
Oh boy.
He said this on camera
Sure.
on a nationally broadcast show.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He and Mayumi and their 3 sons were voted by viewers to appear again on Wife Swap for its 100th episode.
That's how he was punished for his cultural insensitivity.
And apparently he thought he killed it. And he's like, yeah, I'll go back on. People love me.
And casual misogyny.
Yes. And racism, too, I feel like. A little bit of racism.
No, there's that. The cultural insensitivity, that's a nice way of saying racism, I think.
Yeah.
And then, so it's like he managed to be racist and misogynist all in like, I'm glad my wife was born in Japan in 8 words.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Tell me you're racist and misogynist.
But don't tell without telling me.
In fewer than 9 words. Mm-hmm.
So they were voted back onto the 100th episode.
Sure.
About a year later. And this time his wife swapped with psychic Sherry Silver and her husband Sam and their 2 sons.
Okay.
So during his time on the show, when he wasn't yelling offensive things at his fake wives, Heaney expressed his belief that humanity descended from aliens and spoke of launching homemade flying saucers into storms.
Okay. All right. I mean, I've heard many people say that they thought we descended from aliens.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe. I mean,
sure. Absolutely.
I tend to think that Dick Heaney is not the guy to tell me that. But sure, dig what you dig.
Totally. And
Yeah.
he does. He digs what he digs. In April of 2009, Heaney had unsuccessfully sought the media's interest in a proposed reality show called The Science Detectives, which he had envisioned as a documentary series to investigate the mysteries of science. So he's very, he's out there. He's trying to become part of the public. He wants to be in the public eye, and he's pitching ideas. He's coming up.
Sure.
He's trying to get something to stick.
Yeah. I get you. He's a showman.
In April of 2009, he and Mayumi signed an option with Wife Swap Producers to pitch a reality show about homemade science experiments, including a balloon made in the shape of a flying saucer.
Okay.
I'm waiting to see some sort of flicker of recognition.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't know the name of the kid who wasn't in the thing, but is that...
What's that, Sean? I'm gonna play. How do you feel about 911 calls, John?
I mean, there's one hilarious one about a cop who stole marijuana from the evidence locker, and
I've heard
then
that one, yeah.
made his wife made brownies, and they ate them and got really stupid.
Sure.
That one's fun, but 911 calls in general tend to be really sad.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, don't be too sad. I wouldn't do that to you or our listeners.
If this is what I think it is, I will not be sad, Kat.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and play the... It's about 3 minutes, but I think it's worth it. Let me just hold up my phone like a fucking cave woman.
Yes, that's what cave women did, Kat.
The address of 5... Okay, so phone number you're calling me from? 970. Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
All right. My family and I made an experimental flying saucer. It wasn't supposed to fly.
Okay.
We thought we had this thing tethered down.
Okay.
And I think my 6-year-old boy,
What's wrong?
he got inside, and it took off. Yeah.
Okay, where is he at?
He's in the air.
He's in the air?
Yeah. He's only 6. So I'm at the Harmony and College. That's where we were going to test it. Anyway, probably by Loveland Airport right now. Can anybody rescue him?
Okay. When's the last time you saw him?
About 15, 20 minutes ago. You know?
Minutes ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what do you do in a case like this? I mean, how the heck are we going to get him down?
Okay.
So listen, I called the FAA. They told me to call you guys. I would have thought that they could, send something up. Is there a helicopter or something?
Just hold on 1 second, okay?
All right.
We're going to get you some help, but just stay on the phone.
Okay.
Okay?
Mike, we keep calling for it, man. Maybe it's right.
Is somebody there with you?
Yes, my wife.
Okay. Can I speak to your wife?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
This person wants to talk to you. Did you find anybody with a fucking helicopter or anything?
Yeah. Hello?
Hi.
Hi, what's going on?
We are doing an experiment of the flying saucer we made here, and it's supposed to be tied on, so it's just floating in the 20 feet up.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know what happened to the tide, but it's got loose or something, so it's flying.
Okay, you think he's flying around in the air somewhere?
Yes. And then,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, this was about how long?
15, 20.
How long ago did this happen? Like 20
20
minutes?
minutes ago.
20 minutes ago?
Yeah. And
Okay.
we can't find the 6-year-old Falcon. And my other son said Falcon was at the bottom of the flying saucer. He said he was in there. But anyway, I tried to find him anywhere.
Okay. So we're gonna get you help, okay? Just stay on the phone with me here. Larimer County. Stay on the phone.
Wow.
So that, John, who you heard there was Richard Heaney and his wife, Mayumi. Sorry, Mayumi.
Mayumi.
Were you able to make those two voices out okay?
I think I could tell the difference, Kat.
Okay, good.
I'm pretty sure. And I will tell you that I'm glad listening to that I know a thing or two about this story now. But it's really
good.
awesome that I didn't right up until you wanted me to.
Okay, good.
You
Oh, that's
played
good.
that one masterfully.
Oh, good.
Uh-huh.
And, keeping in mind that these two people were unsuccessful actors. Just keep that in
It
mind.
just goes to show that it's a rigged system, and it's not how good you are; it's who you know, Kat.
I mean, really.
That's what's
Okay.
happening.
So, that phone call was made to 911 on the morning of October 15th in 2009.
Okay.
That was, we heard just now, Richard and Mayumi reporting to the authorities that Falcon, their youngest boy, was
the bird.
the bird, yeah, was trapped inside a homemade helium-filled gas balloon shaped to resemble a silver flying saucer. They had released the balloon into the atmosphere from their backyard in Fort Collins.
And it was supposed to be tethered, is my understanding from the information presented to the 911 operator.
That is correct. And they remember, they kind of repeated that a couple times.
Yeah. Almost as though. I never mind. I'm. It's crazy talk. Go ahead.
So the family said they first suspected Falcon was missing when immediately after the balloon had taken off, Falcon's brother told them that he had seen the 6-year-old climb into the balloon's basket beforehand. And so if you've actually, so there's a video. You've probably seen it.
Yeah.
Like it was probably
Well, it's
10
just
years
the
ago.
thing flying along, right?
So it's Richard and Mayumi. You can see they have this. They're in the backyard. There's this big silver UFO shaped balloon. It's sitting on top of like this little. It looks like a, some sort of dock or something.
Right.
And one of their sons must be operating the camera because we can see both parents in the shot.
Right.
And then you see, so one kid, I think it's Brandon, the oldest kid, is holding the camera, and then
Wait,
one of the other,
Bradford.
Bradford,
Mark.
sorry, yes, thank you. Oh, you're paying attention.
Welcome. I have been.
Bradford is holding the camera, and then we see some other kid run sort of out of frame, and it looks like they're testing it out.
Right.
It's tethered, but we're gonna release it to see if this release is working. And of course, the balloon keeps going, John. They release it, keeps going, and then the camera gets a little shaky, and then Richard starts yelling at his wife, saying, "It was supposed to be tethered. Why didn't you tether it?" He's screaming at his wife. He's kicking the dock thing, the landing dock. Mayumi's just screaming. So it seems like this is the first time they're trying out this new the balloon, like to see if they can release it. And two of their sons are there. Why wouldn't the third one? Hey, everybody, let's all gather around. We've worked so hard on this balloon as a family. Let's make sure all 3 boys are there. I don't know. Red flag number 1.
Yeah.
Or one of many, I guess. So the home video that I just described to you, it's available. I mean, all this stuff is very findable. So if you have a couple hours to kill and you want to have a really good time,
Go down that rabbit hole.
go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So that video shows the launch of the balloon. He's inspecting it. A countdown. It's a whole big thing, and there it goes. It just floats right up into the sky.
Wow.
And so Falcon's nowhere to be seen, and nobody. But in the video, nobody mentions that Falcon might be in the balloon. There's no mention of it.
Right.
So, according to initial reports from the sheriff, the family first called the FAA.
Okay. Yes, that is what he said on the call as well, and
That is correct.
the FAA told him to call 911.
Although later the sheriff's office stated that they had no confirmation that he actually called the FAA. Then apparently the family called Denver NBC affiliate KUSA dash TV. Interesting.
Yep.
They reportedly requested that the station send a news helicopter to track the balloon's progress. And then their third phone call was in fact to 911.
Sure.
In part, so it's a much longer call. What I played for you was the first call to 911, and then the 911 operator, who seemed very professional and may have been detecting some bullshit. It's interesting when she's like, someone else there? Can put your wife on the phone? And
Yeah.
she's like, what's going on?
I very
That's
much
what
got
she asked
that
Naomi.
idea too. She's like,
Yeah.
it's like, you could tell from just the tone of her voice, like, yeah, this dude is nuts. So let me talk to someone else.
Yeah.
But then when she corroborated the story, you could kind of hear the tone changing. Like, okay, maybe this is a real thing.
This could be real.
And not a crank. Yeah.
So that first 911 operator transfers the call to a local station, I believe, is what I think is happening.
Okay.
So then part of that call that we don't hear, Richard is quoted as saying, I don't know whether it's possible you guys could detect the electricity that it emits. It emits 1 million volts on the outer skin.
Oh, wow.
So he's claiming that, maybe it'll help if you try to detect the electricity that it's kicking off. It's emitting 1 million volts.
I just want to confirm here. This is a balloon, yes? It's a balloon that is shaped like a flying saucer.
Let's get into the details of the balloon, John.
I would love to hear the specs, Kat.
This is a saucer-shaped balloon that he described as a prototype of a vehicle which people can pull out of their garage and hover above traffic. He also stated that the high voltage timer was switched on during the flight, Falcon's flight, and the balloon would be emitting 1 million volts every 5 minutes for 1 minute. And he said it would do this in order to move left and right horizontally. So he's invented, like what the George Jetson used to fly around in, right?
On just pure electricity.
Yeah.
That's the yep.
A million volts of electricity, John.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember, and I've got a friend who's an electrician, a retired electrician, and he'll probably laugh at me if he ever listens to this. But if I remember correctly, they always say it's not the volts that get you, it's the amps.
Ah.
But I don't know how many amps would be involved in this. And also, it seems like if you're hovering and you want to move left or right,
Yeah.
rather than generating 1 million volts, you could use like 20 volts and turn a little propeller on the side.
Yeah,
of it that would kind of push you. To
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have made sense.
It's me, and I'm silly. Obviously, Richard Heaney knows more about this kind of thing than I do.
He's an inventor, John, and a storm chaser.
Yes. And a storm chaser, and a licensed carpenter, and
He's good at shoveling shit, which actually is appropriate.
I mean, that really it was a very fertile breeding ground, if you will, for a young Richard Heaney.
The balloon itself was 20 feet in diameter
Okay.
and 5 feet high, or 5 feet tall, I guess you could say.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because I did not realize it was that big. And what I was really trying
It's pretty big.
Yeah. There were a couple of questions that I had, and I don't know, should I ask these questions or you want to go ahead and give me the full specs?
Please ask me the question.
All right. So like cubic volume of helium in this is that's like kind of what I'm like.
Oh, how much helium?
How much helium does it hold? Because, even if a kid is only 6 years old, he might only be like 60 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
But that's still an awful lot of weight, and it takes quite a bit of helium to offset that mass. And yeah.
So I'm looking at the more detailed specs that I wasn't going to get into, but I'm glad I left it on the document so I could address your questions. I knew
You knew
this
who
was
you were
gonna happen.
talking to, right? I'm the guy who's going to
So-
ask questions and then not know what to do with the answers.
So
they're gonna
fully
sound
inflated,
really good. Yeah.
a balloon of this size would contain just over 1,000 cubic feet of helium.
Okay.
Helium's lift capacity at sea level is sea level and 0 Celsius is 1. We are in the weeds, ladies and gentlemen.
No. I'm with you.
1.113 kilograms per cubic meter.
Okay. But they gave us cubic yards, didn't they, or cubic feet?
Cubic feet.
Cubic feet. But now they're into cubic meters. So they're
Which
changing.
They've converted it. It's 0.07 pounds of cubic feet per cubic feet.
Per cubic foot. And we have 1,000 cubic feet.
And decreases at higher altitudes and higher temperatures. So they were, I think they said, because they lived at 5,000 foot elevation, and the balloon got up to 2,000 feet. So that's 7,000 feet above sea level. And I don't know the temperature.
Even if we don't account for temperature and the fact that the lift power of helium decreases at higher altitudes because the atmosphere is thinner, we're still looking at, it was 0.007?
0.07.
0.07. Okay. Well, that means that 0.07 pounds, right? Is that right? Or
Yes.
okay.
Correct.
Not kilograms. Okay.
No.
So 0.07 pounds is what it lifts with 1 cubic foot. We have 1,000 cubic feet. So that's
Right.
about 70 pounds.
Wow,
So this
they estimated that it would be, it could lift up to 65 pounds at sea level, 48 pounds at approximately 8,000 feet above sea
Okay.
level. So you're pretty,
Okay.
you're pretty close.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, we had to take temperature and starting altitude out of it. So,
Yes.
okay, 48 pounds. A 6-year-old, I mean, depending on how skinny the 6-year-old is, that maybe they do only weigh 48 pounds. But even so, even though it might lift that, the odds that it would still continue to go up very high are pretty slim, because the higher it goes, the less it's able to lift.
Yes. And
Yeah.
if you've seen the video, I mean, the video of the launch and then just the video of the thing floating around, which there's plenty of it because of all the news coverage.
Right.
It doesn't appear like it's holding any kind of weight. It's just kind of it
Right.
appears to be very light.
Well, and that was my other question is there actually a hollow space anywhere inside of this structure?
Let me answer that question, John.
Okay.
So the overall construction of the balloon, it was construction of plastic tarps taped together, covered with an aluminum foil type material, held together with string and duct tape. Now,
Yeah, passing 1,000,000 volts through it, too. Yeah, okay.
its base, in which Falcon allegedly was in, was a box made from a very thin piece of plywood and cardboard on the side, also held together by string and duct tape. So there was a space for him. There was a space big enough for him to be in.
Okay.
Constructed very haphazardly, it seems like.
Which is what you want for a passenger
Oh, definitely.
compartment.
But I don't know that it was made for. I mean, listen, this is all hooey. But I don't know if that space was made for a child or if it was made for maybe
For a
it was
payload.
storm chasing equipment
Sure,
or something.
sure.
Yeah, some sort of.
A sensor package.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Let's see here.
But it was made to hover over traffic? Or is it supposed to be a storm chasing device? 'Cause
It's not clear.
I
When we have Richard on, we can ask him.
Okay, I like it.
Oh my God, that'd be so great.
That would be amazing. And I feel like he would accept.
Oh, you probably would.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, we'll get into that,
We'll talk
too.
about that later. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so they've called the police. They've called the fucking FAA. And they've called the news. So two Colorado National Guard helicopters and local police are in pursuit of the balloon, John. It passed through 2 counties, and planes were rerouted around its flight path.
Wow.
And so that phone call they made that phone call to 911 at 11:30 a.m. At 1:30 p.m., It landed
Oh,
about
it-
12. It did about 12 miles northeast of the Denver International Airport.
Okay.
Now, if you go and look at this video of it landing, there are some police cars in pursuit of it,
Okay.
and it looks like it's descending. It's in like a farmer's field. It's a very, it's just like a big dirt field, basically.
Sure.
But this one cop jumps out of the car, starts running after the balloon, probably in hopes to help to cushion the fall, but also to grab onto it so it doesn't fly
Sure,
away.
so it doesn't fly away again. Mm-hmm.
So the balloon drops. The guy's there. He kind of trips a little bit. It's kind of funny. And then he holds on to the balloon. And
Okay,
then
now I want to know. No. We need to unpack this a little bit, Kat. Is it funny because he's a cop, or is it funny
no.
because just Schadenfreude in general, the old banana peel thing?
It's the banana peel thing.
Okay,
I'm
all right.
assuming he's a cop. He's not in a uniform. He might be like a detective or some sort of lieutenant or
This
something.
man is trying to save a child, and you have the utter gall. Okay, I can't even keep this going.
I know.
Yeah. All right.
Man, you were making domestic violence jokes. What are you talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about. I think I said I was merely I was improvising the role of Richard Heaney and what he might say.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yes.
Got it. Oh, I
would
misunderstood that whole situation.
I would never.
So, the balloon lands. The fire department shows up. There's a ton of police cars. There's ambulances. There's a whole hullabaloo. And they open up the balloon. No Falcon.
Uh-oh.
Where's the boy? There's no boy.
This is scary.
It's not good. So when Falcon is not found inside of the balloon, officials are like, "Oh no, did he fall out during the flight?"
And
So-
and it would belie his name, I think. What would actually happen to
It's an
him
unfortunate.
if he fell out of the
His name is Falcon.
I know, right? The irony. Ugh. It's thick.
Although it did not appear that the basket had been opened or damaged,
Okay.
they were concerned.
Sure.
Officials said that the door was unlocked in the balloon. So I guess there was a way to lock the door. I
Wow,
don't know.
there's a door in it. Okay.
So then during this whole sort of, the panic of like, where the hell is this kid? A sheriff deputy reported seeing something fall from the balloon near Plateville, Colorado.
Oh boy.
And very quickly, a photograph of the balloon in flight with a small black dot below it was said to suggest the boy may have fallen out or something, some part of the balloon may have detached.
Oh my goodness.
So now search and rescue crews are called out, John.
Out to Plateville, you said?
Yeah, they're going to look for this. They're looking for Falcon
Sure. In Plateville.
in Plateville and the surrounding areas. That was around 1:30 when the balloon finally dropped. So
Okay.
at 4:14-ish, CNN and other news outlets reported that the boy was found hiding in a cardboard box in rafters above the Heaney's garage.
Very interesting. He chose exactly that time to hide and to stay hidden
Weird.
for that long. Yeah.
It's very strange, John.
Yeah.
But County Sheriff Jim Alderton later said, for all we know, he may have been 2 blocks down the road playing on the swing in the city park. So the New York Post estimated, I mean, it's a New York Post, but still, they estimated that the total cost...
I don't know what you're implying here. That is a Murdoch-owned property,
Of
and
course.
therefore it has all of my trust.
Yes.
Yes.
Very serious news organization.
I buy gold from every one of the companies that tells me to in the New York Post every week, Kat.
They estimate that the total cost of the rescue operation would be around $2 million. Wow. The helicopter flights alone during the rescue operation cost about $14,500.
Now, is that just the police helicopters, or is that the news helicopters too? Do you think?
I'm guessing that's just the police helicopters.
Okay, good. Because the news helicopters, they got theirs no matter
Oh,
what. Yeah,
that was a good day for
it was
that.
a big news day. This was really only like 11 or 12 years ago. In 2009, you said?
2009.
Okay.
It does feel longer, doesn't
It
it?
feels longer ago than that
Yeah,
because,
it
well,
does.
partly because it was such a different landscape then.
Oh, that's true.
Everybody had cable. We hadn't cut our cords yet. Like CNN was a big thing that you would watch at the time.
It's true.
Yeah, crazy.
So later that same day, John, it's a big day. Falcon has had a big, scary day. The family's distraught. Can you imagine what they've been through? So the whole family appears on CNN's Larry King Live that same day.
Okay. Wow.
Wolf
That's a
Blitzer
fast booking.
It is CNN. They're not fucking around.
No, they're not.
Wolf Blitzer is covering for Larry that night. I don't know.
Okay.
So he's asking the Heenies questions,
Sure. As you would,
And-
he's a newsman.
One of the questions was, could you hear your family calling for you? And little Falcon, cute little boy, he says, yeah, I did. I heard him.
Fuck those guys.
And he said, well, then, Falcon, why didn't you come out of the garage? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to play for you what Falcon's answer on live television on CNN on the night of the horrible, very scary balloon.
I don't think I could overemphasize how excited I am to hear this, Kat.
So Wolf says, why did you not come out of the garage?
You guys said that we did this for the show.
So what Falcon said was, if you couldn't understand, you guys said that we did this for the show.
Yeah.
And then Richard, who's sitting right next to him, says, oh, man. And then his mom says, no.
Because denial is so,
Yeah.
I'm just glad that Richard didn't backhand poor little Phoenix across the set because,
that was later.
Oh, okay.
And so, I don't know. And then Wolf says, Richard, why would Falcon say that? And Richard, who is looking down, he's not looking at the camera, says, I don't know. I don't know. And then he starts on some other, he tries to say, like he's going to be able to talk his way out of this.
Give it the old sidestep.
Yes,
The old Dick
yes.
Heaney sidestep.
The next day, during an interview on ABC's Good Morning America and NBC's Today, the boy vomited when he was asked about his comment, and again when his father was asked about it, fueling more suspicion. So this poor young boy,
Yeah.
who it would appear has been asked to lie to authorities and lie on national TV.
And he's 6.
And he's 6.
He's
And
6. I know 50-year-olds who still can't lie convincingly to one person.
Well,
yeah,
and
forgetting it.
and he was, when he was on with Wolf Blitzer, he was like, "Fuck it." He was like, I'm not going down on my own. Like, he's on fucking you guys. And then the poor kid, he throws up because he's
He's got anxiety.
Yes.
Because he's probably afraid of what his dad's going to do to him. It's terrible, Kat. It's awful. Awful. I'm waiting for the tell-all book that Falcon writes. That's what I'm saying.
So Falcon's answers on live television prompted the sheriff's department to pursue further investigations as to whether the incident was part of a publicity stunt.
Yeah. How much did you say that the budget?
Around $2 million.
About $2 million? Okay.
About $2 million.
That's a $2 million worth of free advertising there, I guess.
That's true. And then, so once once the idea of it being a hoax was sort of thrown about, then everyone got on the bandwagon.
Sure, it was. You want it to be real while you're covering it.
Sure, yeah.
But if you want a story to have legs, then make it into a hustle.
Absolutely. On October 16th, Alderden, who's the sheriff, said that the suggestion that the boy was coached to hide seems inconceivable. This is the local sheriff department.
I do not think that word means what you think it means.
Inconceivable.
It has been conceived of. I'm conceiving it right now.
Oh, very good. You've made your point.
Thank you.
Researcher Robert Thomas sold a story to Gawker alleging that he had helped plan a publicity stunt involving a weather balloon, and investigators expressed a desire to interview him.
I don't know why.
Right?
What would that have to do with anything?
Laramere County Sheriff's officials had consulted a Colorado State University physics professor, Brian Jones, who initially determined, based on the dimensions provided by Richard Heaney, that the balloon could plausibly lift off with a boy of Falcon's reported size, 37 pounds.
Oh, yeah. No, he's in the pocket there.
Yeah, he's in the pocket. However, when authorities later measured the balloon, they concluded it was not large enough to lift the child. So apparently Heaney was fudging the specs.
He was fudging the numbers, cooking them saucer books. That's what's up. Yep.
Upon inspecting the balloon, authorities learned it weighed 18 pounds on its own, more than Heaney had said. And Alderden said the base of the balloon could have handled 37 pounds without breaking. But to get airborne with those 37 pounds inside, it would have to have been attached to a much more powerful balloon. So the story is falling apart, John.
You're making me feel so smart right now. I'm like of the things that I was questioning.
I know. I'm impressed. I'm glad I had those specs available to you.
I am so glad too. And I'm sure that our listeners really enjoyed hearing two people long out of school try to math live on microphones.
John, I only have a high school diploma. I barely was able to get through, reading you those specs.
Kat, education is really overrated.
I agree. 100% agree. Look, I don't want to point out how much Heaney and I have in common. Okay, both were bad. We both failed stand up.
I'm gonna go up against failed.
Oh, wow.
Just because you stopped doesn't mean you failed.
Because I quit. Okay, you're right.
You're a quitter, not a failure.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I'm still waiting for your revival. I'm thinking it's going to happen one day.
You think I'm going to make a comeback?
Yeah. Okay. I never saw you do stand-up live.
I know.
Kat.
I wish you had.
I wish I had too. But it tells me that it's going to happen one day.
Oh, that's what it's going to take?
That's what it's going to take.
Just to make you happy?
Listen, it's going to take a lot more than that.
Fair enough.
I've got a list.
All right.
Okay.
Listen, during a press conference on October 18th, so this is a few days later, Alderden, again, he's the main sheriff dude, he called the incident an official hoax.
Wow.
Stated, "We believe we have evidence that at this point to indicate that this was a publicity stunt in hopes to better market themselves for a reality show." Wow. He also said the charges in the case have not yet been filed, but that the parents could face both misdemeanor and felony charges, including conspiracy to commit a crime, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, filing a false report with authorities, and attempting to influence a public servant.
I just want to say that one of the crimes that they might not have been charged with is besmirching the good name and reputation of reality TV, Kat. Because reality television has a long and storied history of being above board. And wait, you're giving me a look. I don't. No,
I wouldn't plant your flag on that, John.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should talk after the show.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right,
talk after the show.
We can cut that. That's fine.
Yeah. And cut that out.
Okay.
And don't cut that out. So Alderden stated that his comments that he made previously, saying that that's ridiculous, inconceivable that this boy would be prompted to lie.
Did he lisp when he said it?
He did. Inconceivable.
Was he Wallace Shawn when he said that word?
He was.
Okay.
He was wearing a jerkin.
Nice.
He stated that his comments that he had made on October 16th were part of a game plan to keep the Heaney's trust. So he was very keeping them on the hook.
Oh, so he kind of knew. He's saying, I knew all along.
Exactly.
I was actually feeding false information to the press and the public.
Exactly.
In order to close the net in a pincers-like movement around the Heaneys.
That's what he wants us to think. Yeah.
Sure. All right, Alderaan. Wait,
Richard-
no, that's been destroyed. That's
Richard Heaney's lawyer, David Lane, announced on October 19th that Richard and Mayumi Heaney would surrender to police as soon as charges were filed and would plead not guilty.
okay. I'm sorry, but somehow in the entirety of this story, you had referred to his wife as Mayumi.
Yeah.
Or maybe Mrs. Heaney, but Mayumi Heaney. I stayed that place in Hawaii one time.
It's a great hotel.
The Mayumi Heaney, yeah,
Yeah,
they had a
it's great.
luau with a roast pig and the
so
whole
good.
bit. It was fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah. Was that culturally insensitive?
No, I think it was funny.
Okay, good.
According to the supporting affidavit the law enforcement submitted with their application for a search warrant, Mayumi later admitted that she knew all along that Falcon was hiding in the residence.
Oh,
The affidavit alleges that the couple planned the hoax about 2 weeks before releasing the balloon and instructed their 3 children to lie to authorities as well as to the media regarding this hoax. For the
bad
purpose,
parents and bad people.
it's just bad all around.
Just bad.
For the express purpose of making the family more marketable for future media interests.
You know what? The Mayumi Heaney is never going to get another dollar of my vacation money. It's never happening.
Forget it.
Yeah, they've
It's
ruined
not
it.
it's just not the same.
Nope.
So then, their attorney, about a month later, announced that the parents intended to plead guilty to the charges filed against them, for which the prosecutor would recommend probation.
But wait, Kat, didn't you just say that they would absolutely plead not guilty?
I did, yeah.
What was the difference what was the time difference between those two
It's about a month.
press releases? Oh, okay. That's about how long it takes. Okay, good to know. For the Heaneys, anyway.
For the Heaney's. The attorney's statement said that the threat of probation of his wife, Mayumi Heaney, who is a Japanese citizen, was a major factor in the plea negotiations. Richard Heaney pleaded guilty to felony charges of attempting to influence a public servant. Mayumi did not appear with him, but still faced a misdemeanor charge of false reporting to authorities.
So is he
Seems
still
like Richard's
happy that
getting-
his wife was born in Japan?
Seems like Richard's getting more heat than his wife. On December 23rd, so this is maybe about a month later after he had pleaded guilty. Or pled guilty?
I think both of those are actually correct.
Great.
Yeah.
A judge sentenced Richard Heaney to 90 days in jail and 100 hours of community service. He was ordered to write a formal apology to the agencies that searched for Falcon.
Okay.
His wife, Mayumi, was sentenced to 20 days in jail to be served through jail-supervised community service for 2 days a week. So she basically had weekend service.
Okay.
She was allowed to begin her service after her husband's ended in order to ensure her children would be cared for. And the Heaneys were also banned from receiving any profits from the hoax for several years.
So they wanted to make sure that the 3 Heaney children continued to receive the wonderful parenting that they had been getting up to now.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't want to interfere with that. No.
No. Good parents. Good parents. So, John, the term balloon boy became
Yes.
#1 search on Google within the first few hours of the event, and
Sure.
34 of the top 40 searches on Google were related to Falcon Heaney and the incident. On Saturday Night Live, that next Saturday's Weekend Update, the balloon was interviewed by Seth Meyers.
I see. I do think I recall that now. Yeah. Yep.
After the balloon incident, the wife swap, the people at Wife Swap said that a show involving the Heaneys had been in development, but that the deal was now off.
Right. Once again, because the moral high ground
Yes.
had to be maintained by the makers of the show with the title wife swap.
swap. Yeah, they have standards, John.
Yeah, I mean, come on. These people, they're above reproach.
And the Lifetime channel had been set to air one of the wife swap episodes involving the Heenies on October 29th. But the station pulled the episode because of the balloon boy incident.
That is a difference, another difference between 2009 and now. I feel like they would have that show would have gone on the air in a special presentation the night that it happened, because they would have known they would have gotten a huge rating share if they'd done that.
I feel like you're 100% right.
Thank you. Can we record that?
Cut that, Ann. Can you cut that?
Nope.
Cut that out.
Don't cut that, or I'll cut you.
Ann,
No.
Ann, cut.
Don't do
My
it.
God. Oh my God. Threaten our editor?
Little much? Little much? Okay.
A little much.
All right. I'll buy her an iPhone. It'll be okay.
She's definitely cutting that out. So it would appear, John, that not only has this incident failed to give them the fame and fortune they were hoping for, they're now opportunities are being taken away from them because
they got the opposite of the balloon boy bump.
Yeah, that's exactly it. This has not worked out for them at all. On January 7th, 2010, so about a year later, Richard Heaney began to claim in media interviews that he only pleaded guilty to prevent his wife's potential deportation. In 2015, another interview he did with Today, Heaney repeated the claim that the incident was not a hoax.
Wow.
In 2017, he released a video on YouTube where he lays out how the police and the media both worked together to assassinate his character and force the Heenies to plead guilty.
His character committed suicide, Kat. It was not assassinated, okay?
So this video is about 30 minutes long. I think it does qualify as a tirade and a bit of a manifesto.
Did you watch the whole thing, Kat?
I couldn't.
Okay.
I got through some highlights.
I mean, I was going to congratulate you, but I'm really glad you didn't put yourself through that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do a lot for this podcast, but I won't do that.
You and Meatloaf. That is the thing that he would not do for love.
I won't do that. So during this 30-minute long video, he goes into he essentially he references another criminal case in the same county with the same group of detectives who came after him, that they had accused and convicted a man of murder who had not committed the murder. So he's equating himself with someone who went to prison for murder who didn't commit murder. John, he's a victim here. Okay.
I mean, yeah, but you're saying it's the exact same group of detectives who investigated him?
It's the same department, yeah. Same time.
Same department. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I'd have to watch it again to get the more specific details, but I don't want to do that.
I mean, if that's accurate, like that's enough to at least throw some doubt, you know?
Okay, sure. And that's what he wants. That's what he's hoping for.
But I heard that kid, and that kid said, "You guys said to do it for the show."
He did say that, yeah.
He said that. I heard him.
Little Falcon. So in this 30-minute long video, he goes after the police. He throws his wife, luckily, figuratively, under the bus.
I mean, it's possible that he did it literally at a different time, but there were no cameras, probably.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Blaming her poor English on her confession, basically saying, for her confession, saying that, he cited that on Wife Swap. These are his credible, references. Well, on Wife Swap, they had to subtitle her dialogue because you couldn't understand what she was saying. And she had never heard of the word hoax before this police interview. So when they said, "Was this a hoax?" and she agreed, she didn't know what she was agreeing to.
But she not only responded to that question, she specifically said, "Yes, I knew that Phoenix was in the cardboard box in the rafter." Right, because he did not rise from the ashes. There's no way this kid is rising from these ashes.
No.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, that Falcon, not Phoenix, was in a box in the garage, and she said that she knew it. So whether
Yes.
she knows what hoax means or not is really not in question.
It's
here.
not relevant. And
No.
you're right. In the affidavit, the reason that they were doing this, according to her, was to get more publicity.
Sure.
So, and then in 2019, people can't stay away from the Heenies, man. They keep getting interviewed because this was such a big fucking disaster for them, and people are just fascinated with idiots.
Now I had a picture in my head, Kat, and I like to see these have no actual content value, but I just like to say the things that go through my head. I saw them as being magnetized, and people just couldn't keep away from them. They were just like
great.
people, just getting attracted to them and slamming up against them. Yes,
So in 2019, ABC News interviewed these people, the Heenies.
sure. 10 years later,
10 years later, and the Heaney family continues to maintain that the incident was not a hoax. And Mayumi, again, sticking to her guns, saying that she confessed out of fear of deportation.
okay.
In 2019, the same interview, which you can watch, it's available on the online, as you can imagine. He again is playing the victim and blaming his blaming this on the media coming after him and his character assassination. He's quoted as saying, "I've lost a lot of opportunities. I've had people contact me about things I invented, and the deal went south because they find out who I am. The thing that gets me is the media never tells my side of the story."
Yeah, because your side's a lie, dude.
Bro.
And a million volts. Like, because here's the thing: we got the specs of the balloon,
Yep,
and we got
specs.
the specs of the passenger or payload compartment in the balloon. Where was the electrical power plant that was generating 1 million volts of electricity?
It's a good question.
Or even let's pretend a battery could actually put out that much, and let's pretend that that putting 1 million volts of electricity would make you move in a direction besides just causing lightning to flash and make you jump across the room.
Right.
The 1 million volts thing is it's clear this guy is trying to. It was important that he say that, right? That he say that it has 1 million. First of all, 1 million is a big number. People are
It
going to pay
is.
attention to that. And you say volts, and it's like that's a lot of electricity. How's he generating that, Cat?
Yeah, exactly.
Did he rub a balloon on his hair? Is that what happened?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
So in 2020, December of 2020,
It was less than 2 years ago.
this is very recent.
Yeah. Wait,
The
actually, it's
governor-
1 year ago. Yeah.
In fact, actually, yeah.
That is less than 2, so I'm still technically correct.
You're good.
Which is the best kind of correct.
The governor of Colorado issued the Heenies a pardon,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
saying that they had already paid the price in the eyes of the public and that it was time for Colorado to move on from the case.
Kat, could I ask you a question that may seem like just not even pertinent to what the actual case at hand?
Please.
What political party did the governor of Colorado belong to at that time?
Let me look up
in
Jared
2020?
Polis right now.
Okay. Because I'll tell you what, if I'm wrong on this, I will eat my hat. But boy, I have a strong feeling, and I'm a bit of a gambling man.
He's a gambling man. Well, oh boy, John,
Do I have to eat my hat?
go get your. Oh, you're wearing a hat.
I
Take
am.
off your hat and eat it because he is a member of the Democratic Party.
Well, okay.
Look
You
at
know what? I'll
that.
take my lumps. It just goes to show there are idiots in all parties.
We knew that already, though, didn't we, John?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And John, that is the story of the balloon boy.
Kat, I cannot thank you enough for telling me that story. It's the timing on it is perfect. It was just it was recent enough that I remembered some details.
Yeah.
But man, you just really filled it out in living color in 3D.
Oh, good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and there really is a rabbit hole to go down if you look up Richard Heaney.
For sure.
And there are still, he has inventions that he is marketing. He does. I don't want to mention them because I don't want to give this
You
guy
don't-
any kind of
What do you think the Venn diagram of people who would buy a Richard Heaney invention and people who listen to the My Mistake
Okay,
podcast?
you're right. So there's
All
one
right.
thing called the bear scratch.
Bear scratch.
It's a bear
Okay.
scratch, and the video he made, it's like it's a infomercial in the style of like, I am really excited about this product. And he's like
Oh, boy.
really, he's giving it his all, man. It's his best performance,
Yep.
and something called the bear scratch.
Okay. Who was
And-
the OxyClean guy? Was it Bobby
yeah.
or Billy
something.
Bland or I don't know.
Yeah, didn't he OD on
I
cocaine
on
or something?
cocaine. I believe you went a
Cocaine.
little too far with cocaine, cat.
So he is very much emulating Billy. Was it Billy Blank?
Billy Blank, Billy Bland.
Billy Blanc. The guy with the beard. Billy Beard.
Yeah, well, he had the shoe polish beard because
That's right.
yep, that's the guy.
I'll let you find that name.
Okay,
Because Billy Blanks was the Tybo
he
guy.
was the Tybo guy.
yeah, don't besmirch the good name of Billy Blanks.
Billy Mays.
Billy Mays.
Billy
That's right.
Mays. Yep.
So Richard is very much he is very much copying Billy. What is his name?
Billy Mays.
Billy Mays' style.
His TV huckster style, which actually could be traced back even further to Ron Popeil.
Ah, yes.
But he was a little bit lower energy than
He
than Billy
was.
Mays. Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Mays really went for it. And so does Richard in this thing. And the bear scratcher
Yeah, what does it do?
It's a back scratcher, but it's modeled after what bears do.
Don't bears just rub themselves up against tree trunks, Cat?
That's right, John. And boy, do they have something. So instead of a back scratcher that you hold in your hand, you attach this thing to the wall, to like a doorway.
Wow.
And then you just scratch it like this. You just find the itch that you need, and you don't need anyone else ever again to scratch your back.
I mean, I got to tell you, I don't think I've owned any type of back scratcher since I was like maybe 11. And I think
Yeah.
I won that at a carnival where I probably had spent $13 good on some kind of throw a ping pong ball into
Sure.
a goldfish bowl thing.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine the scratching of my back becoming a high enough priority that I would attach a fixture to the wall of my home.
Well, I mean, you'll never lose it. You'll always know where it is.
I mean, that's true.
And it's
That
only
is true.
$34.99, John.
I'm going to tell a little story here that's absolutely true. And this happened, I think it was 2 nights ago. Michelle and I were sitting on the couch watching TV, and she got a heck of an itch on her back.
Oh, no.
And so I went over and she took like a little up, no, middle, no, a little lower, that whole thing. And when we got done, we just looked at each other and I said, that's why people get married.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Michelle a link to the bear scratch.
I think that's fair.
Bearscratch.com.
Because listen, hey, that shoe's been on both feet. I've been the guy with the itch on the back.
Of course, yes.
Yep. Especially as we get into these drier winter days where it gets very, very cold here where we live, like down into the low 50s. I'm actually wearing a beanie and
You are.
a
You look
hoodie
very
right now.
cozy.
Thank you. I am actually. It's a red beanie, so
Yeah.
it's like it furthers my hipster Santa kind of look that I've got going on.
It's pretty good.
Thank you.
You're rocking it. So, anyways,
Yeah.
if you're bored, you want something to do and want to feel better about yourself, why don't you just look up Richard Heaney? All kinds of good stuff.
Yeah. Check it out. Thank you again, Kat.
You're welcome,
I
John.
never don't like it when you do a hysterical Mistork. They are my favorites.
Thank you for saying that's very nice. They are very fun. And when I was looking, I knew it was time to do another one, and I was on online looking for different ideas and stuff, and I stumbled across the Balloon Boy, and I was like, oh, this is made for My Mistake. This is a perfect hysterical Mistork for My Mistake.
It totally is, and it fits into the same category with like the astronaut diaper story, where it was like this story that just dominated the news cycle
Yeah.
for like a couple of days, and then completely went away.
Exactly.
And I think like, I might have an idea for another hysterical Mistork, but
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's the kid down the well thing, right?
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
Baby Jessica, I think was the original one of that.
Yeah.
And that one was real, but then there have been
That
other
was
stories
legit.
where there was not somebody actually down the well. But yeah. That's this genre of story. I
It
like to
is,
think.
yeah. It's and because no one was hurt, the kid was fine. I
Yeah.
mean, emotionally, he's probably not okay, but
He's got douchebags for parents. What do you? I mean,
he really does.
so bad. Whoa. You know who else is bad, Kat?
Who's that, John?
Mike Pence.
Oh yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck Mike Pence. And I'm sorry, I would never cut you in. I would never do it.
It was very organic. It was an organic rim job.
Okay.